Good morning. Today we're going to talk about nuts and bolts or fasteners and the importance of fasteners. Now I'm not going to cover every fastener, people, because that in itself is a whole college course, probably a degree plan could be made out of fasteners. But I just want to get you familiar with how to read what's on the box, what does it mean, how to measure these silly things, because we do need to know these things. It is very important how to identify a couple different types of fasteners. So looking at this paper here, you're going to see that it says 3816 UNC 2A. Well, what does that mean? Remember that fasteners, mechanical fasteners now, and I'm going to specify mechanical fasteners, not pipe fittings, the first number you would see is always the major diameter. The major diameter in this case is going to be the diameter across the threads. It has nothing to do with the head. It has to do with the diameter across the threads from crest to crest. Now, bolts are never on size. And I'll get into this in just a second, but they're undersized. But this is the major diameter. The next number you'll see here in this is 16. What does that mean? What that means is that there is 16 threads for 1 inch of length. It's number of threads per inch, and it'll be noted on there, but this is important. Now, unfortunately, the English system, we do not use the number of threads per inch in calculations, but what we use is called the pitch, and I'll explain that again in just a second. Then we see UNC. UNC, what that stands for is a unified core system. The unified system means that we have a 60-degree thread. It has a flat or a radius, both at the crest, the top of the thread, and at the root. The threads you're going to buy today are UNC or UNF. We don't have the SAE in that anymore. Those are special threads. Your standard threads you'd get at the hardware store, you're going to be your UNC. The next thing you would see is a 2. Well, 2 is the class of fit. Class of fit on bolts runs 1, 2, 3, and yes, there are 4. The lower the number, i.e. a 1, is an extremely coarse fit or extremely loose fit. A class 2, that's again the type of thread you're going to find in any hardware store, Amarillo bolt, where have you not. That's going to be your general purpose. Your class 3 is a precision fit, and your class 4 fits what you're going to find on micrometers, calipers, high-end cameras, things like that. Then we end up with, out here on the class, the A. Luckily, it's denoted by A or B. A is an external thread, B is an internal thread. And then we could get into grade, and we're not going to talk much about that, but we will, in your respective classes, we'll get into that. So let's look at, first of all, major diameter. This happens to be a 3/4 10 bolt. I'm going to get a 3/8 Now this is a 3/4 10 hex head. Got a hex, and again the hex, has nothing to do with the threads. We're going to have a 1/2 13. Now this is what's known in industry as a socket head cap screw. Some people will call it Allen screw, which is fine. Allen is the name of the company that first developed this, along with the Allen wrench that would fit into it. The actual industry name is going to be socket head cap screw. This is a bolt for a 1/2 13, or nut, I'm sorry. Got to sleep this morning here, I get some more coffee in me. This is a 1/2 13 nut. This is a 1/2 13 hex head bolt. Again, the same threads. You'll notice that it screws into the nut. So the thread pitch is the same. We'll get to the 3/8 which is on the box. This is a 3/8 nut, 3/8 socket head cap screw, and the 3/8 bolt. So they come in different lengths, what have you not, different amounts of threads. Now I'm going to talk, we'll do the basic measurements of this. I'm going to move this over to the side. The first thing we need to check is pitch. Now what is pitch? And bear with me a minute here. I'm going to write this on here. One over the number of threads per inch. Pitch is 1 over the number of threads per inch. Well, if I have 16 threads in 1 inch, it'd be like a steel rule. How many 16ths can I get in 1 inch? 16. Well, I take 1 divided by 16, that's 1/16 of an inch. So physically, the distance between any 2 points, the crest to crest, wherever you now, as long as you're measuring the same point, will be the pitch, or this is 1/16. What does this mean? That means that every time I rotate this bolt 360 degrees, it advances or it moves back 1/16 of an inch. We can use this, first of all, when we calculate tap drill size, which we'll get into later, but we can also use this in industry if we have to move something a known distance, and if you know the pitch on your thread, you can use this literally like a measuring tool, like a micrometer, because remember, all the micrometer is a thread. It is a bolt and nut. Very accurate one, but it's a bolt and nut. So we can use this to our advantage. So we know the pitch on this is 1/16 of an inch if it's 3/8/16. Now, unfortunately, our wonderful English system here, and I'm not dissing it, it's just the way it is, we come up with really neat things. Not everything is 16, not everything is 10, 20, 32. Those all really work out nice. But remember here I have a 1/2 13. Or that every time this nut would retract or advance, it's going to retract 1/13 of an inch. That means 13 revolutions is 1 inch. Kind of an odd duck, but hey, it works. We use a ton of them in industry, so it's nothing, it's just the way it is. That's our pitch. So we got the major diameter, the distance from here to the corresponding opposite side here, the diameter of this bolt. Do not be shocked when they're undersized. That's a class 2. Class 2s are always undersized. We have the pitch, which is going to be the distance from any 2 corresponding threads, generally picked as, you know, the top of the thread to the crest of the thread. Now there's multiple ways of checking the pitch. If you don't have, you know, you're out on the job or something and you don't really know what it is, you're looking at it, and after you've done this for multiple years like I have, you'll just look at it and you know what it is. You'll get there. But there's tools that we have to check this. The first I'm going to show you the tool that we use to check it. Then I'm going to show you another fashion that we could do it. Now this little thing here, it looks like a bunch of little teeth. What it is, this is called a pitch gauge. I'm going to look in here, and we'll set this down for a minute, and I'm going to find the right pitch gauge. Now on here is numbers. 11.5, 13. That's a 13 threads per inch pitch gauge. So I can take this, I can put it in the threads like this. It matches up perfectly. If it doesn't match up perfectly, it's not that pitch. And I know that I have a 13 pitch. I can then measure the OD of the thread, or I can look at the book and notice there's only 1/13 in the entire catalog, and that's going to be 1/2 13. So I know this is a 1/2 13. 13, 1/2 13 is also the coarse series in the 1/2 inch bolt. You will run into fine threads. You'll have the 1/2 20, you'll have the 1/2 13. Those are going to be the most common. You have other specialized threads in the 1/2 inch. We're not going to get into that. For those of you who are machining majors, we'll make a living doing this stuff. But this is how we measure, check, do bolt threads. Now I'm going to show you another way. You don't have a pitch gauge. You got a steel rule. I'm going to take this nut off of here. I'm going to take, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure 1 inch of thread. I'm going to set this into the scale at the center of the threads, and I'm going to measure 1 inch. Now in this case, I've got to turn it over. You're not going to be able to see it from my side, but I've got to be able to see it. So I look here and I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Well, I've got 13 threads in that 1 inch. There, 13 threads in 1 inch, 1 over 13 is 1/13 pitch. I know this is a 13 pitch. I can then measure the diameter, and again, you know, you're gonna call the standard. It's not gonna measure directly 1/2 inch, but you're gonna call the 1/2 inch. It's a 1/2 inch, close enough, within a 64th. So I can say safely, I know this is a 1/2 13 bolt. That concludes this video on measuring pitch and major diameter on fasteners.